Thank you
for joining us at the 20th
annual
RJR
Memorial
Chip Out.
Cheweela Chip Out. It's been great. What a great year it was.
We just want to say thank you so much for everybody who's been here. You guys have been here for our father. It means a lot to us, and we're really appreciative for you guys and everything you do and joining us.
Yeah, it's very special for us as brothers and as a family. We've come to enjoy this every year and looking forward to this every year, remembering our father and remembering the time that all of you had with him.
Yes, this has been a very special thing for us, and we just want to thank you and look forward to spending many, many more years with you guys at the Chip Out.
Queer sights, but the queerest they ever did see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge, next thing is Sam McGee.
Terry Goebel!
Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows, and why he left his home in the South to roam around the world, God only knows. And he was always told that that land was gold, and to hold him like a spell. So he'd often say in his homely way, I'd sooner live in hell. So it was a Christmas day. We were mushing our way over the Dawson Trail. Knocking the cold with carpets cold, stabbed like a driven nail. If our eyes we'd close and our lashes froze, till sometimes we couldn't see. It wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper, Sam McGee. That very night as we lay packed tight in our robes.
One thing I want to say though is that one thing Bob was rich in was family and friends. And everybody that's here is a testament to that. That family and friends were all that he lived for. And that's a legacy that I'm going to take on for him, because family and friends are all that matters when you're laying in the ground. And when you're in that cold, dark ground, the only thing that matters are your friends and your family. So cherish them and love them while they're here.
Right.
Here, here! Here, here! Here, here! Here, here!
Okay, I got one up.
When years and years Dick has talked to me about the song that Johnny Lobo wrote and recorded about 35 years ago, which is called Wild on the Weekend. And what makes that song relevant this evening is the fact that there's a line in here about I've got my attorney Bob dialed, because I'm starting to get wild, because it's Wild on the Weekend. So this was recorded in one of my bedrooms with some equipment and stuff, and I just want to say that the way that Bob and I met was I was running the collection department at Fairchild Global Credit Union, and Dick Schroeder assigned to Bob to be the corporate attorney. And he talked to me and he says, Jim, I'm going up to Sandpoint to foreclose on this property that we have up there, and I just wanted to let you know. I said, oh, that sounds interesting. I'd like to see that. Do you mind if I ride up with you? And he said, no, I'll stop by and pick you up. I said, okay, that's great. So we rode all the way up to Sandpoint and foreclosed on a piece of property, and in the process we had a conversation about elk hunting. We wanted to go elk hunting and neither one of us knew anything about it, and so we put together a trip, went elk hunting, and it was awesome. And there's a story about the banker and the lawyer going elk hunting without the right equipment, but they had the permits, and the cousins helped them kill their game, and it was all awesome. The one thing I will never forget about Bob was the fact that he was always the glass is half full or completely full. And it was like, take time to smell the roses. So, yes, Carpe Diem was part of that. And so the whole theme of Wild on the weekends, what that meant to me was Monday through Friday, it's business, it's taking care of the families and everything. And on the weekend, it's time to cut up, release, and do the wild and crazy things.
He wore a smile, you could see a mile. He says, close the fucking door.
I told a story last night about one night we were up in South Hill, and we were driving. He was driving in his Volkswagen Bug, and I was the passenger, and he took the corner around South Hill too quickly and knocked the hubcap off of his car, the passenger side front, and the hubcap rolled over on the sidewalk. And we looked at each other because we had a destination. We were going to go to the Park Inn. I think it was a place where the nurses hung out. But anyway, we looked at each other and thought, should we go back and pick it up? No, it'll be there in the morning. So we just kept going, and by golly, he picked it up the next morning. That's the way we went through law school together, and he would have been governor of the state if he would have survived his melanoma. So use sunscreen, stay out of the sun.
Favorite memory of Bob Roberts was out at the ranch, and we were duck hunting. And we were in separate boats. Dave Roberts and I were in one boat, and Bob was in another one, not too far away. And we were goose hunting, and kind of in high wind. And these geese came in and kind of kited over us. We stood up, boom, 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 boom. Mine landed in Bob's boat. I thought he was going to fall out of the boat. But he maintained. But he really kind of kicked my ass when we got back to the cabin. So great memory of Bob on that one.
So of course Bob was a fraternity brother, and I think I played Bob as I was the assistant rush chairman. But Bob and I then went to work at the Jean Coulon Beach in Renton, and I was the beach manager, and Bob was the one of my lifeguards. And so on the summer days, we all got lathered up and did our tanning contests, watching the girls. But on the bad days, I sat in my beach office, and Bob had to rake the goose grunt off the beach all day. So we had an inequity there. But we spent 2 summers together as beach mates in our tanning contest there in Renton.
Yay. Bob was my little brother in the fraternity, and so we were roommates for several quarters, and it was always interesting. We would kind of debate on different kinds of music. He was a little more Motown, I was a little more heavy metal, but it was always really cool. And we would sometimes do battle over who got the room, because there was only one bed in the room, and he usually slept in the sleeping porch. So, you know, if he had a girlfriend, he had to get down and beg a few times, but it happened. So that was nice. Bob, I love you, and you know, look forward to seeing you sometime in the not too distant future. Bye-bye.
My best memory of Bob is loves his family. Meeting him was a pleasure. Knowing him a little bit as I did was a lot of fun. Now, here we are at the chip out. What's my best memory? It's being here. Every time I get to come, yeah, we play some golf and I hit some crappy shots and I kill a few that just make me feel like I know what I'm doing. I don't. But being with my friends here, that's my best memory. The Northwest I love, and Loon Lake with a bunch of loony friends. That's what the chip out's all about.
So my fondest memory of Uncle Bob, there are not many. I was young when he passed, but I did have the opportunity to spend some time with Uncle Bob and get to know him a little bit. one memory that stands out in particular, we came over to Spokane to visit while he was actually ill in the hospital. And it was kind of my first experience that I remember with a close family member, or someone that was sick, and someone that, you know, was on the way out, that we knew kind of the end was near. I was 6 years old at the time, and you know, it's a new experience to deal with a thing like that. I just remember going to the hospital room, and he was asleep, and you know, my dad said, you know, just grab his hand and hold his hand and squeeze it, and if he squeezes back, you know that he felt it, and he appreciates, you know, you doing that, you being there. And he did. And at 6 years old, you know, it's a powerful moment to get that from somebody who, you know, we had to spend a lot of time together. We lived in Seattle, and obviously, you know, Bob and Lisa and you know, the boys and Allison lived in Spokane, but you know, to get that first, you know, introduction to loss and a close family member, and to know that he was there, he was, you know, with us, was powerful. So that was probably my fondest memory, I would say, of Uncle Bob.
They say that all good things must end someday. Autumn leaves must fall.
I'm a shy guy, baby. I don't talk too much. The man gone, baby, I'm a wild, wild on the weekend. He's just a man gone wild, kinda like a wolf man, a full moon at night. A feeling possesses me, when I just can't hide. Got to stay out the trouble, got my turnabout time. It's finally Friday, and I'm starting to get wild. Ooh, baby, I'm a wild on the weekend. He's just a man gone. Baby, I'm a wild on the weekend. He's just a man gone wild, baby. Just a man gone, baby, I'm a wild on the weekend. He's just a man gone, baby, I'm a wild.
Well, memories of Bob. Okay. My best memory of Uncle Bob is a trip that I took to the duck ranch with Uncle Bob and Clint and Brett and my dad and CD. And it was the dead of winter, and the marsh was really low and really frozen. We all drove out there in Bob's big old Suburban, and the first thing we did was we went looking for arrowheads in the crater, and we found some. and that was so cool, I can't even describe it. And the second thing we did was Uncle Bob had us build a bonfire on the ice, which I thought was the craziest thing I had ever heard of, because fire melts ice. But the ice was about 18 inches thick, and we built a bonfire out there that burned for roughly 8 hours. And it was just a great experience. It's my favorite memory of Uncle Bob, and I'll never forget that time.
As far as Bob's concerned, we go back a long ways. We were fraternity brothers at University of Washington. Then we both went to law school together at Gonzaga. After law school, we lived together and with his cousin, Steve Areno. And then after a couple years, Bob moved across the street, married Lisa, had his kids. So in terms of memories, there are so many because I kind of grew up with their family just across the street and became a big part of them. Of course, Bob and I love playing golf together and partying and stuff like that, but kind of became one of the family. I was known as Neighbor Mark to the kids growing up.
I would say the fondest of the fond memories of Bob would be in elk camp. We'd go elk hunting every year, and Bob was by far the best hunter amongst us. And one year he took out 3 elk, and he and I disputed one. We both claimed it, but since Bob has passed away, I gave it to him. So he took 3 elk that year, and it was just a fun time. The rest of us would come back and drink after about lunchtime. Bob would stay out there all day long and show up as soon as it hit dark. He was the best hunter I've ever hunted with, and I would love to still be doing it.
For myself, I'm enjoying the 30th year of the Chihuahua Chip Out, created by Bob Roberts' family and my family in 10 years worth of repetitive, awesome experience. It was the beginning of the appreciation and love for what we're doing here, and we would embark on this activity at 6 in the morning, sometimes earlier, play our 18 holes and be back with the kids on the lake for the rest of the day. But it was our jet away down to Chihuahua, and it was the origination. Occasionally Dick and others would join us, Cal for certain. Very fun to have those guys, so they're part of the original 30-year tradition that's gone on here.
Probably my favorite memory of my dad, Bob Roberts, was out at the duck ranch. We were driving back from a duck hunt, and I can't remember who shot it, but I'm sitting in the boat, and I had to have been about 5 years old. And either Dave Alexander or my dad, Bob Roberts, shot a goose out of the air, and it landed right on my back, and it crushed me. But it was the best thing I'd ever seen. It was a wonderful shot, and it was just amazing.
So my relationship with Bob was when I was really young, and what I remember best about his personality and just demeanor was how calm and just, I don't care. We would golf, we would ski, we would fish, we would camp, and no matter what we did, Bob was just, had a smile on his face, and the world was just in pure enjoyment. And that's what I remember best about Uncle Bob.
So, hard to come up with a favorite story about my dad. So many memories and things that I would like to share. One that stands out for me is we were skiing up at Mount Spokane, and I had fallen and broken my finger, and he had picked me up and put me on his shoulders and skied me back down to the cabin that we were at. And despite going through trouble, things like that, he was always so happy to take care of us and to be around us and adventure with us and do all kinds of fun things, and just such a great father to me and my brother.
Brother Bob, it's hard to believe, he was quite the running athlete. I participated in about 3 or 4 goofy running clubs in Spokane, but Bob was the real deal. In high school, he was a distance runner. The mile, I think, was his specialty.
Brother Bob was one great guy. Everybody loved him. He was very personable and made a great lawyer in Spokane. One of my last memories of Bob was he knew he had cancer, knew he didn't have long, and went up to visit him at his house. I lived up above Hangman Creek on High Drive, and we got together, and even though he wasn't real peppy and everything, we walked all the way down the hill to the 5 mile down there to the little golf course down below so we could chip for a while and just visit and talk. So he was a golfer. I think this tournament is a great tribute to him, and I'm sure he's up there watching us now.
There are many, many memories of Bob, but there's one that is just special about Bob. We all went elk hunting over in the Blue Mountains, and I was with a different group of people, and every year Bob would find me where we camped and would come by and share a beer with me. And that is just how he was, just being incredibly friendly. I understand the JL was there too. I didn't know that because Bob would find me alone in the Blue Mountains of all places every elk season. Thanks.
I probably remember as kids trying to make sure he didn't get out of bed on time, or when I got up, because I got the 15 minutes before him, and he never liked that. So we'd spend 15 minutes fighting to try to keep him in bed. So that stands out as one of the highlights of my memories of Bob.
From this day forth, in the eyes of the Welsh Mafia, Paul will be known as the Phoenix. The Phoenix is known as a mythical bird that would live for 500 to 600 years, then burn itself out into a funeral pyre, only to rise from the ashes to live again. Today, we bring Paul's tale back to life. We encourage you to ask about him, talk about him, and share your memories of his life. It's time we celebrate my brother, your cousin, your friend, and your son.
So, raise your glass right here. Everybody come together real quick.
Brett.
Okay?
What's it all about?
This is to Bob Roberts, Paul Roberts,
Eugene.
Papa Gene, and all of us.
Happy Father's Day, Papa Gene.
I
love seeing y'all once a year.
Well, there are strange things done in the midnight sun.
Dates, but I can make them stay. At least that's what people say. That's what people say. But I keep grooving. Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. Cause the player's gonna play. And the hater's gonna hate. I'm just gonna shake. Shake it off.
Fuck yes.
No, you don't say one. Yeah, you don't say 2 or 1. We have to mouth it.
Hey everybody, today is Thursday, June 15th.
Damn it.
Start over.
And action. Thank you for coming. That's the first thing you're going to say. And go.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
2, 1, jack it off.
Thank you everybody for coming.
I don't believe you. Leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Thank you everyone for coming.
We'd like to thank everybody for joining us.
Coming.
Coming.
We'd like to thank everybody for joining us.
Coming.
You know when I come. Don't do it again. Okay.
And action.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us this year.
Coming.
You know when I come, I say I win.
This has been a wonderful. This has been a wonderful 20 years, and we appreciate each and every one of you for coming. Every year you've came. This has been...
I'm wild on the weekend.
just a man gone. Baby, I'm a wild, wild on the weekend. He's just a man gone wild, kinda like a wolf man, a full moon at night. A feeling possesses me, and I just can't hide. Got to stay out the trouble.